approval of the 23rd, 2025.
I'll move to approve them.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, seconded by Commissioner Vagley to approve the meeting minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved. Chairperson's report 3.1. Well, we did have a shack event last week, and Commissioner Meyer, you were there on Friday?
I went to the second day.
Yeah.
I went to Micah the first day.
The first day was all about our tribal nations, and a number of, counties have tribes in their geographic area. One of the points was that we don't have a tribe here in Winona County, but we do have Native Americans. And the question was asked, and maybe we should find out, is like, how many do we have in our population that identify as Native Americans? And then the rules change. And again, it's unclear to me, and it didn't come up as, each tribe is independent and a sovereign nation, and they have different rules and regulations and everything. But one of the things that they said, and Emily is in the back, is that Medicare changes, the rules change for a Native American. And so we need to understand how the rules get changed and everything. And it's interesting. It kind of brought out not only, Native Americans, but we all have in, special population groups within our counties, and how their culture and their, history and everything affects what goes on in their daily lives and everything. It did get brought up very briefly that, of course, they have chosen to, by why, I don't know, casinos, and some of them are taking land and building more casinos. And then, of course, now the cannabis industry, they seem to be dealing with and stuff. But it was interesting, and it's an area that, we just have to be cognizant of. We don't directly, and some counties that have them, it's good and it's bad and it's difficult at times to work with multiple jurisdictions and multiple sets of rules and multiple sets of little idiosyncrasies that make us all unique and work with. The legislative aide, she tried to give us like, what's she going to do for public health? And it's like, nobody seems to know. So I do appreciate Commissioner Meyer handing us the MICA. Maybe they've got figured out what they're going to do with the legislature and what they're going to ask legislation to do and how you're going to ask to do it. I mean, that seems to be in everybody's area. I said on yesterday, we had emergency communications, and how do we convince the legislature that we need money for all these things that we're doing? The armor system we built out many years ago now, 20 plus years ago. It's wearing out. It needs upgrading and updates, and it's very expensive. And so as far as legislation goes, and how many new legislatures will we have next? This time it should be low, but 2 years, a year and a half from now, we'll have probably a lot of new legislatures, and to educate them and bring them up to speed, what they're going to need to know is going to be a monumental task. So
Commissioner,
yes,
based on census data from 2020, it's about 200 Native Americans
about 200
in the
Okay.
county.
And so, and I guess, Emily, maybe I'll put you on the spot. Do we identify anything like that when they come in for any services at the county? I mean, maybe it's more human service functions. I don't know. And I don't know that we should unless they bring it up.
Most programs do inquire about race and nationality, or if they have tribal connection that's validated, they get tribal benefits for.
Okay. All right. So we do ask, and we know. Okay. All right. Okay. Other than that, I think, are we still healthy? We're pretty healthy here in the upper Midwest. I hear there's some measles outbreaks in Texas and such jumping up again. Anything that we need to be aware of?
There were a handful of measles cases in the metro area, Minneapolis, St. Paul, in the last 4 to 6 weeks in unvaccinated children after exposure with unvaccinated adults.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else anybody has or inquires about health? All right.
We just have 2 items on general business, right?
Yep. Right. Yep. So there was no consent business. So moving on to general business 5.1, discuss and approve resolution naming Dr. Adine and Dr. Osterman as co-medical consultants for Community Health Board.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve the naming of medical consultants for Community Health Board. Just a question, is that a forever position, or do we review that periodically, or do they tell us they don't want to do it anymore? Or because it's mandated that we have a medical.
Yes. So typically how we've done it, we've done a resolution like you're approving today, and that is in place until we decide otherwise.
Okay, all right.
We approved the contract with Winona Health for Dr. Osterman in our last community health board meeting. So then this is the resolution to support that as well.
Right. Well, one of the, I don't know. So Dr. Dean, to be a medical, you have to renew your licensure every so often. So he is current and intends
Yes, he
to
is. Yes.
continue that. Okay. Because you're not a doctor for life. You have to, there are rules.
There is
for-
requirements. You have to hold your medical license in the
Yeah.
state of Minnesota to
Yeah,
be in the
and
position.
he served the Winona community for, and
Yes.
greatly for a long time, but yeah,
I
okay.
will just say that as a new commissioner, I did not know this was a requirement. I did not know that he was the designated advisor. And I wish that I had known that during COVID.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Okay, that's approved. And then 5.2, acknowledge extension of cannabis and substance abuse prevention grant through 10/31 of 2027.
I'll move to approve item 5.2.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Bagley, second by Commissioner Meyer to approve the cannabis substance abuse prevention grant through 10/31 of 2027. The luxury of time. I did bring this up in one of my counties in the northern part. I said, one of the things we struggle with in county government is getting younger people to serve on any of our boards and everything. Particularly the other night, the comp plan, what are we gonna do with our land? And here we got a bunch of, I hate to say it, I'm amongst them, some old gray-haired people making rules that the young people will have to live with forever. So where are the young people? What do they want? And one of the health directors from up north, I'd have to look, remember, they used some of the cannabis dollars and created a youth council. Because what do the kids want? What do they see as and I know we have that group, is it still existing? Dwayne, you may know.
ASAP, no longer exists. The funding ran out.
Okay, all right. But that's maybe something to look at is, what's going on in that group of our population.
Because that is exactly what they did. I don't know if you've been to the events at the chamber where they had lobbied the legislature
Yeah,
and they gave
a
out
couple
the
years,
education.
a couple years ago, but
That group did a fabulous job.
right, but there is the gentleman who headed it still in the community?
Oh, it's changed a bunch of times.
Yeah,
And I can't remember the name of the last director.
I can picture.
Because she's on our HHS advisory.
Oh, okay, okay. But it maybe is something to consider if we've got funding and we've got a group that possibly could be, I don't know. It's just, I'm just throwing it out there, is that we're making all these rules and recommendations and spending all this, but do we really know what the youth want and would like to see moving forward? So, all right, so we will acknowledge the extension of the cannabis and substance abuse prevention grant. All those in favor?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I like, do we vote on that?
Yeah, no. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay, approved. Anything else to come, Emily? You got any words of wisdom for us? No tips? Take your vitamin E and get ready for the decrease in sunshine in your life?
Sounds good to me.
Daylight, When do we change the clock? Somebody was asking. That has impact on people. That has impact on health. Pardon
I
me?
think it's the second week of November.
Okay, that has physical health impacts on people, that clock change. And I see there's a number of states that are doing away with it finally. I don't know, it's kind of crazy.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, second by Commissioner Olson to adjourn. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we're adjourned. All right, we got 6 minutes. Good morning. It was a beautiful sunshiny day at my house this morning but now we look like we might get a little precipitation. But I said the plants need a good rain before they go to bed for the winter. So moisture is appreciated. It is amazing. People don't realize how quickly the ground moisture went from, ample and supple to very dry. So it's important. But we can't take a vote on it. We have no control over it. It just does what it wants to do and such. So we call the meeting. Our first item is public comment. This is the opportunity where anybody wants to address the county board, and you have 2 minutes to address us, and we have a timer. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address the Winona County Board this morning? Is there, is there somebody online
Yes.
on that
Can
screen?
can you hear
Someone
me?
online that would like to address the county board?
Can you hear me?
Admitted to the.
Oh, okay, I was
Yes, I would like to address the county board.
calling in, so we'll let Heidi will let them in. Heidi's the gatekeeper.
Can I address the county board, please? Can you hear me? Hello?
This angle is very hard to read. Are there two? I saw something about two
I
people.
think they're still coming in.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh, we had some glitches in the
Okay.
system a couple within the last month or so, so we've had to put a few extra little steps in
Hello?
security to
Good morning. Yep.
allow
Can you hear me?
to address the board.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Sorry. Yep. You keep muting me. It kept saying you guys are muting us.
Hello?
Jesus. Hello. Can you hear me?
It looks like.
I
two.
can hear someone. Can you hear me on the county board?
Perfect. Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Sure.
Hello?
Hello.
Can I begin my 2 minute?
Okay, is there anyone online wishing to address the Winona County Board? Can we see, what is that first box? The boardroom, Heidi,
Mhm.
and then there's a couple,
Pine Creek Farms,
okay.
Neva Johnson, Robert Heyer.
Johnson's our intern.
Robert Heyer.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Heyer wanted to call in too.
Heidi's coming. I just saw her.
Person there, Heidi?
No.
To add to what Commissioner Ward said, we're trying to find the balance between allowing people to comment
And
and protecting us from very inappropriate Zoom bombing.
Zoom bombing.
So this is us figuring this out.
Oh, according to our previous,
Pardon me? What, we're not allowing, what?
so we disabled all of unmute because.
Oh, that wasn't
past
our,
history.
that
That's
wasn't,
not what the board decided.
yeah, that's
though.
not what the board wanted to hear from them.
Yep.
So.
Do you unmute them?
Can you unmute them or
I
can?
thought that we were gonna control who's allowed.
Well, Sam
in.
Michael is on now, so. Can figure it out.
Yeah, because they're not, Pine Creek is, I know that's Linda Johnson. And then I know the Mr. Heyer, he had contacted me and he wanted to call in. And I think everybody
Hello,
got
can
it.
you hear me?
Ms. Holte forwarded an email.
Yes, we can hear you, and you just unmuted everybody, I believe. We were not able to unmute ourselves or put anything in the chat up until right now.
He had an issue with a variance.
So can I do a 2-minute?
Thought I did.
I think that was just yourself and Mr. Olson.
Yeah, but I asked you to forward it to the rest of the board.
Oh, I might not. have seen-
I'm the Winona County intern, and I think
No,
that we can hear you
technology
guys, but they
solutions,
can't
wait.
hear you.
Obviously, so can you fix that?
I'm not, they're
Yeah,
fixing it right now. If you can see, I'm not
okay.
in the office right now.
Pine Creek, Linda, can you
Yes.
unmute? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Talking, but no.
Yeah, I can see her mic is on.
Hold on, let me try and text them real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're on.
We can hear you.
Okay, is there somehow you can get it into here, Heidi, or that's not a? If you can get them in later in the meeting, we can.
I can hear them.
Stop. later.
Okay, should we, pardon me?
To go on.
Yeah,
stop
we'll
later.
go on, and if Heidi, if you can get them cleared through the system, we'd like to hear from them. Okay, we'll move on. I apologize for that glitch. Technology works and it doesn't work, so. We'll move into item 4, approval of the county board meeting minutes. We've got 4.1 was the county board of September 23rd, 2005, and 4.2 is the closed session for September 23rd, 2025.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, second by Commissioner Olson to approve the meeting minutes and the closed session minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, approved. Moving into item 5, acknowledge receipt of approved committee meeting minutes. We have 5.1, the Board of Adjustment, 5.2, Planning Commission, 5.3, Whitewater Joint Powers Board, 5.4, Human Service Advisory, and 5.5, Health and Human Service. Oh, one was July 15th and Health and Human Service, August 19th.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, seconded by Commissioner Bagley to accepting and acknowledging the receipt of the approved committee meeting minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved. Just for the public to know, the acknowledgement receipt, so if anybody wants to follow any of these committees, these are approved committee meeting minutes that are put into our agenda packet. So if anybody wants to know what's going on in some of our citizen subcommittees, that's a good resource to be able to see what's going on there. Moving into item 6, consent comments and approval of the agenda. Attorney Krantz, you're sitting in for Attorney Sonneman?
No.
Nothing? Okay. Commissioner Bagley?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Olson,
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yeah, I'll just give an update on the MICA meeting.
okay. And Ms. Holte?
I'm going to request to pull 7.9 to a future agenda. We have some work to do on that contract.
Okay, 7.9 to be removed and on a future agenda. Okay, we'll remove that one. I personally need to pull 7.5 for a separate discussion, so we can make that 8.0 and a possible communications at the end. With that, oh, I'm sorry, Heidi.
Just maybe try ask the big.
Okay, why don't we just let's motion to approve the
I'll move to
amended.
approve the amended agenda. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Bagley, second by Commissioner Olson to approve the amended agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved. Okay, the agenda is approved as amended. Do we have anybody online that would like to address the county board?
Yes, I would like to address the county board if you can hear me now.
Oh, yes, we can. Thank you for sticking in there, hanging in there with us. Please identify yourself, name and address, and go ahead. Thank you.
Linda Johnson, La Crescent, Minnesota. Good morning. I'm speaking today regarding the purchase of pole pad units on today's agenda. First, I would like to say I attended a Braver Angels forum recently, and I know some of you did too. One of the things discussed there was when there is a difference of opinion, always listen and try to find common ground. So today I am asking you to listen to my reasoning for not purchasing pole pads at this time. The county is facing a proposed 12.49% increase in taxpayer levy. The purchasing of pole pads, as it was stated in the agenda item, is not a necessity for this year. So I'm a little confused how you can justify spending $38,000 on items that we do not necessarily need by saving a mere $1,700 to $1,800. Number two, when you say we do not need them this year, I agree, but my justification for not needing them may be different than yours. I'm referring to Minnesota Statute Section 201.225, Subdivision 2, Paragraph B, which mandates a physical paper alternative in case of an electronic system such as a pole pad failure. In fact, each precinct in Winona County, according to this statute that uses electronic rosters such as poll pads, shall have a paper backup system approved by the Secretary of the State. This paper backup must include the same voter information as the electronic version. In the primary election of August 2024, the poll pads were not used, and as an election judge, I can assure you that using the paper roster was not complicated or inconvenient in any way. Taking all of this into account at a time when the county should be trying to look for budget cuts, spending $38,000 on poll pads is not warranted. And if you find at least one thing in my thoughts today that you could identify with and maybe say, I had never thought of that, then we have found some common ground and why these poll pads should not be approved today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else online wishing to address the county board? Mr. Heyer? Are you still
Yes, thank
there?
you. I am.
Okay, please identify your name and address, please, and then please share with us your thoughts.
Okay, thank you. My name is Robert Heyer, reside at 467 West 10th in Winona. I was denied last month's Board of Adjustment hearing for a zoning ordinance request to build on a parcel off a section of my father's property down to a 2-acre lot located on Class 2 soils and within a feedlot zone. My grievance that I have here is not necessarily the fact that it was denied, but as I continued to dig into the situation and the Winona County zoning ordinance as it is accurately and truly written today, I don't believe that any such conditional use permit or variances were required. Section 10.2 of the zoning ordinance clearly states that a map shall be held in the office, signed by the director, chairman of the county board, so on. No such map has been able to be provided, and when requested, Ross Dunsmore with the Planning and Zoning Commission stated that Beacon is the official map, which directly is against what the zoning ordinance says. Furthermore, when it talks about dwellings over 40 acres, dwelling under 40 acres, in section 10.4.4.5, it states feedlot setback requirements for dwellings being built over 40 acres. However, in 10.4.6.36, it states dwellings under 40 acres and has no feedlot setback requirements. And nowhere in the document does it state that you refer to the feedlot requirements in Section 8. So my question to you, commissioners, is at the end of the day, how are we as constituents supposed to follow the rules if they're not clearly defined and if the county planning and zoning commission can't follow them themselves?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Heyer. Appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to address the Winona County Board? And the last time, is there anyone else wishing to address the Winona County Board? Okay, thank you. I appreciate Heidi and staff getting that to work for us, because I think that was the commissioner's goal, was still to hear from our constituents using that mode of communication. All right. So Ms. Holte, back to consent business. Would you read the remainder in the, for the record, please?
Yes, ma'am. 7.1, approve amendment to 2024-2025 Natural Resources Block Grant Agreement. 7.2, approve interim use permit for Barbara Mitchell. 7.3, approve conditional use permit for Kelly Anderson. 7.4, approve exception of procurement policy 5.02 dive and rescue boat. 7.5 is pulled. 7.6, approve LG 220 gambling application for exempt permits. Pheasants Forever, Winona, Root River, Chapter 242. 7.7, approve LG 220 gambling application for exempt permits, Ducks Unlimited. 7.8, approve renewal of mental illness involuntary hold services contract with Winona Health. 7.9 has been pulled to a future agenda. 7.10, approve resolution naming Dr. Adine and Dr. Kelly Osterman as co-medical consultants for Community Health Board. 7.11, approve poverty simulation agreement with SEMCAC. 7.12, approve prioritized bridge replacement list resolution. 7.13, approve 49ers labor agreement amendment 2025 to 2027. 7.14, approve section 125 plan. 7.15, approve developing Minnesota Department of Health Well Inventory Grant. 7.16, approve 2026 towards zero deaths enforcement grant agreement and resolution. 7.17, authorize disposal of excess furniture and equipment, and 7.18, confirm payment of disbursements.
I'll move to approve the consent items.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Vagley, second by Commissioner Meyer to approve the consent business. Any discussion? I do have one point, 7.15, developing Minnesota Department Health Well Inventory. And I know that's an extension of a grant and trying to get an inventory. We had some discussion at Public Health last week. Do we need to include the idea that these are private wells? And I'm looking at Mr. Dunsmore, because there is some pushback in certain areas of the state that these are private wells, and how much information does the individual give up by doing part of this?
Good morning. It's strictly voluntary. It is in survey form. We have already done that for both Norton and Utica Townships as part of the RAPS grant that you'd approved previously. So it's strictly voluntary, and those that don't respond do not respond. But if they want to be included in collecting information as far as extent of need for water treatment devices, what are the challenges out there, it's strictly a method of trying to comply with what the state of Minnesota indicated to EPA that it would do in response to the nitrate order.
Okay, well, we would encourage people to participate, but again, it is private information and it's voluntary, and I think that's important for people to know that they can.
And they are advised that on the form.
Okay, all right, thank you. So we have a motion, a second, to approve the consent business. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, approved. All right, thank you. So the lady in the back, you're good to go. You're good. Barb, you're good to go. Okay. All right, then general business, what was 7.5 is 8.0. And as Linda Johnson pointed out, just questioning, I don't know, Chelsea, nobody from her office is here. The need when, and does it really, I guess a question that needs to be asked, how is it time saving when you have to program the iPad, the poll pads and everything else, but you still have to maintain the 3-ring binder that, and again, my precinct never has had poll pads. We always use the 3-ring binder. We're small, we're a rural township. And I question the different types that we're buying, and then what happens to the old ones? Is there no value in the old ones? Anybody got any answers for me? Ms. Holte?
I'll do my best to answer the questions.
Okay.
My understanding is a big part of the need to purchase new is because the Apple product does not work on the old iPads or poll pad units. And so that's why we have to purchase more ones that are compatible. We do not have backup units, and I do acknowledge Ms. Johnson's comments that we can rely on paper. I can't attest one way or the other as to the requirements statutorily. I need to defer to Ms. Wilbright on that.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Meyer.
After the last election, I had a conversation with the city clerk, Monica Mohan Hennessy. So I think in smaller rural precincts, probably not that big a deal. But she actually had quite a bit of heartburn over misprogramming of the poll pads at some of the bigger precincts inside the city of Winona. So the election that Ms. Johnson mentioned, if it was in August, that would be the primary, and we have higher turnout in the general and when there's a presidential year. So it's true, they were forced to go back and use the paper, but the city precincts, I can tell you that Ms. Mohan considers this a hardship. Because people stack up when they come all at once over their lunch hour or after business hours. And I know that she feels like the poll pads are a necessity. Now, if this board wants to wait and hear from her, rather than taking my word for it, that's fine. But I support moving forward with this purchase.
Commissioner Olson.
It essentially says we're gonna buy them next year anyway. That's a recommendation to get them now to save the money, so if it's something that we're gonna do, it'd be penny wise and pound foolish to not do it now. Would be my opinion, so I would support purchasing them.
Never having used one, I'm not sure how clicking your name on a poll pad is quicker than alphabetically looking it up in a 3-ring binder. I have no personal experience using them. And again, if we still have to maintain the 3-ring binders, why are we, to me, it's a duplication of services. And you're right, Commissioner Olson. I mean, are we going to buy them again? I mean, I guess that's the question. They aren't mandatory. The 3-ring binders are mandatory, or the backup is mandatory. And Ms. Johnson gave us the statute and everything. And then I question, we're buying 55 of the 11th, and then we're buying 7 of the 11th with Wi-Fi, and there's quite a distinction in price. And then, my gosh, paying $70 shipping and configuration fee for each unit. That seems like a lot of money. And again, I'm sorry, I have an iPad the county gave to me, and it's probably got to be 10 to 15 years old, and it still works. So I don't understand why they're saying that these, and Apple's usually pretty good about why the older ones aren't working, and they can't be that old. I guess I would, I have some questions. It's saving, yes, $1,700-1,800, but it's spending $38,000 that do we really need to spend?
Ms. Johnson raised an important point. This doesn't negate the need for paper copy ballots. This is something separate from that, because I agree with Ms. Johnson that having a paper copy backup is incredibly important if ever you need to verify. So this doesn't negate that, correct? Okay.
Right. So
I also feel like it's especially for the larger, I could see the smaller precincts, but for the larger precincts, people have given me feedback as well that that this does help them process people faster.
So tell me, so when you go into your larger polls and such, so they give you an iPad, do you have to enter your name, or what do you do?
Tell them my name.
Pardon me?
I tell them my name.
And
they look it up.
They look it up.
Yeah.
So they look it up on a screen versus taking the 3-ring binder and looking for V's and finding your name. Okay. All right.
Like a rotary phone.
Yeah. Well, and it still works, and a roll deck still works.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, the wishes of the board. I don't support it. I think it's a duplication, and it's an expenditure, and it's actually duplication of work if they have to program. Here's the question then. Does staff have to program and enter all these names and everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shelby's office does that.
Yeah. So it's in a way, if they're doing the 3-ring binder and this, it's a duplication of effort, duplication of work. but wishes of the board.
Motion to approve the purchase of the pole pads.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Meyer. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Nay.
Madam
I would
Madam
ask,
Chair?
yes.
Yeah, are we going to get back answers to your questions?
Well, I would ask, can we downscale this somehow? I don't understand the extra, what the difference between the two of them is. And I know people have a lot of questions. Are these hooked to the internet? And it looks like the more complicated one, the more expensive, the $1,700, it says Wi-Fi, where the
Yeah,
$340.
I don't want to misspeak, but I think there's some protections in there for people who might try to vote at more than one precinct or, yeah. But I mean, perhaps we could ask either Ms. Wilbright or
Yeah,
Ms. Hennessy from the city to kind of.
right. So how does
give
it
us some
protect?
additional
But if I
information.
don't use a poll pad, and I don't know how much of the county doesn't use poll pads, then yeah, could I go vote in multiple? I don't know. Yes,
I will follow up
Thanks.
with Ms.
Okay.
Albright. I know that she did give a presentation, I believe, last year on how the poll pads work.
Yeah.
And the protections that are in place, but we'll have to
There's-
come back and.
believe me, the next major election, there will be a lot of scrutiny. This issue of privacy and voting is still a concern for a lot of my constituents. All right, thank you. All right, moving into 8.1, we have some good news in front of us. But we're going to introduce before we make a motion. I'd ask Mr. Sonneberg, or who's going to introduce him, to step to the podium.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Sadler.
My recommendation today is to hire Phil Sonnenberg as the Director of Finance. We had 8 candidates. Phil has a degree in business accounting, BS in accounting from Winona State University. Comes with 13 years of experience. Most recently, Winona State University as the foundation controller since 2014. Prior to that, Winona State, he also worked at Fastenal in various finance positions. Excuse me. So recommendation to hire.
Yeah, we would like Phil to step up and tell us a little bit about yourself. What do we need to know about Phil Sonneberg?
Good morning. Good morning to those online and in the room. Todd, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, my name is Phil Sonnenberg. I've probably lived in this community for 30 years. I have, with my wife who's here with me, have raised a family of 5 children. I pleasantly live and thrive in this community. It's a great place to be. I've had the opportunity to be an accounting professional for 25 years in various capacities, from small mom and pop shops to, as big as you get in Winona, and have, really appreciated the opportunity to live and thrive and be a member of Winona County. And I have been looking forward to this date on the calendar for quite a while. It's a good and pleasurable opportunity for myself and hopefully our county.
Right, okay.
Questions?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited.
Thanks.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation to appoint Finance Director Phil Sonnenberg.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Commissioner Vagley, second by Commissioner Meyer, to approve the recommendation to appoint Finance Director Phil Sonnenberg. Just a question, start date?
Hopefully soon.
Okay.
We're still waiting for background information. So this is conditional upon the background. So it's taken the state a little bit longer with some of our hires recently. So.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully there's nothing that pops up in there that makes us regret our motion. No worries? Okay, good. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay, approved. Welcome. Thank you. Next item is 8.2, discuss approve Kavera membership services, and that's on page 254.
So when we met last time, I was tasked with getting some more information on what our savings would be. So this is a subscription based, and for our lives that are insured. So for employees that go through our insurance was one of the questions. It would be the benefit of this. So come before you with a recommendation to, further consider this. The savings would be $60,450. And the reduction to our Blue Cross Blue Shield is 24.2% versus 29%, which was projected. 28% would be our increase if we do not go with Covera. And this includes the North Risk fees, the 60,000 savings. That also includes the membership fee of 61,000 for Covera. So in essence, we pay this subscription fee of 61,000. Blue Cross Blue Shield gives us the reduction to 24.2% for our two products that we're offering, which is a savings of 60,450 a year. My projection would be over the future. Next year, we'd see a reduction in that because, we'll be looking at the trends. We'll be analyzing that with North Risk. Like I said, it is a subscription based. There's over 300 medications that our employees receive for free, as well as those in-home, or they could go to a public site if they want to. But for those labs, there's 30 labs that an employee could get. Savings for us and a savings for our employees. Yes.
Yes. Okay, just to clarify this, because I misunderstood. So what you're saying is that the $60,415 in savings is over and above the 61,000 subscription.
Correct. Correct.
So that if we don't do it, it's actually like 120,000? Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. And then
Oh,
in
wait.
Yeah,
Did not-
see? Yeah, go for it.
No, how can it be too, I figured it's just a cost neutral thing.
Nope.
It's a savings. No, it is a savings.
You're gonna pay 60 to Covera,
Right.
and Blue Cross Blue Shield is gonna reduce your premium 60.
No, 120.
It's going to reduce it 120.
I didn't do the
I
math.
understood I
Yeah.
understood it the way you say it,
Yeah.
but Todd said something different.
So-
It is
But it's a 28% versus 24%.
correct.
See, that's still criminal.
What Blue Cross Blue Shield is looking at is that our employees utilizing this service, and it is a subscription based, and it's going to reduce the amount of utilization with our insurance for those activities that are covered under this subscription.
So how does that happen? So somebody has a prescription. How is it going to be the employee has to determine to go through Covera, or are they just going to go to the pharmacy and pick it up and let the insurance?
No, they would.
Who's the gatekeeper of the funds?
Yeah. So they would call the telehealth, which is Covera, and rather than going to urgent care, right?
Well, we have to educate them to do it.
Absolutely, we
It's
do.
voluntary.
Yeah, it is voluntary.
I'm sorry, what's a parent's first reaction when their kid's got 104 temperature in the middle of the night? I'm sorry, they're probably going to emergency. I mean, that's our habit of going to an emergency room or calling somebody locally, not going, oh, I'm going to get onto my computer now and tell the people.
Well,
On the
it's not, it's phone.
When my husband had COVID, he had a really severe migraine but the first option wasn't to just take him to the emergency room. It was to call the nurse's line at Mayo.
So you would call this number, and it is education, not disagreeing. Like I said, what I'm pleased with is the savings that we'll get, but we don't have to do it. And it would be a 28% increase to our premium, and that includes the North Risk fees. So it's about 26.9% without North Risk, but you put in their fees associated that we approved last time the contract is 28%. If we go with Covera, it'd be a 24.2% increase on our premium.
This North Risk,
Yeah.
is that who our broker is?
It is our broker.
Okay,
Yep.
so what was the price out of the gate without them even entering the picture?
29%.
29. So
Yep.
they got it down
The 24.
to
20
24.
26.
26.
If we just don't make any changes, we don't accept Covera, and then 24.2 if we take Covera.
So I'm sorry, in my opinion, that they didn't work very hard. I mean, I'm sorry. It's nothing with you personally, but I don't know that North Risk has really done us as much, because I've heard other counties using other groups, and they've seen much more. Now, again, I don't have the details, but they saw much more dramatic decreases in premiums.
23 roughly is what it is, because you got to put his fees in there. But again, as I mentioned last time, we have 6 claims over the $130,000 mark. And that's well above the market. The other companies that are comparable counties is roughly two at over the 130,000. We have some seven-figure claims that's escalating that.
How many employees did we have? 0. So, I mean, again, they're using that against us. Looks like Commissioner Vagley.
I just want to emphasize this. This is voluntary for the staff.
Yep.
No one has to use it. As long as it's voluntary for the staff, I support it.
Yeah.
I don't want
Well,
people to be forced to use it.
It's
But-
voluntary, but if they don't use it, it's costing us
Right.
a lot of
But
money.
in terms of their choice,
Right.
in terms of what they, because like you said, when my kids were young, we went to but after my daughter's 11th ear infection, I wish we could have skipped that and just called and confirmed some things and gone. Get the
Just
medicine.
write your own prescription.
Or-
Yeah.
Get them to write a prescription.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't quite done.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so if we don't do this, it's like 120,000. If we do it, it is an actual $60,400 savings.
Correct.
That does not include the potential cost savings to our staff.
That's correct. That's only county savings.
So the more our staff actually uses it, then there would be
Yep.
more savings. It's just not savings to us, it's savings to them.
That's correct. And the co-pays and stuff. And the other thing is the two other products that we approved this time, the higher deductible and then the other health plan. I mean, that's about a 10% increase that we'd be getting there. So that's again, a savings depending on how many employees utilize it.
Yep, okay.
So,
Yeah, so I support this, despite the reservations that you have, and I know that you have them and you feel like we're being gouged.
Yeah.
I feel like, well,
Being
okay.
taken advantage of. So here, I got a question for you. Diabetes is on the rampage, and they do say conditions we treat, okay, chronic conditions we treat. And then and obesity and everything. So, prime example is the Ozempic, the Mounjaro, are they covered under what's the price for a refill or a prescription on that particular area of drug?
Ozempic's probably $1,300 a month.
Right, but through this RX refills and delivery, what
Yeah.
would it be reduced?
And generally, that's going to be the generic market for those three. I didn't bring the list of the 300 drugs, but generally that's the generic market. A lot of times your augmentins and things like that, that's generally going to cost an employee probably $8. That would probably be free.
I guess
But
I'd like clarity on that because that's a growing, and they're using those drugs for many more things. Actually, there's studies now that those drugs are being used for addiction treatment. I don't know where they're at on the research on that.
I can say that with like the Ozempics and some of those designer that have used them for designer drugs for weight loss and stuff, a lot of our insurance companies, ours are the same thing, is that you've got to get your doctor to sign off that you need it for that.
Right.
So
Right.
I can't say that Covera does that. I mean, because that is,
Can you do some follow-up?
Well,
Ask them
I
what
would,
they would do for my
I-
employee
I-
that uses it?
I can, but I would say it's probably not one of the drugs covered, especially at the price point that we have, but I certainly will.
Okay, well, I know, there's got to be some reduction or some benefit because we're paying them 60,000. I mean, that's one particular case I would like a little more information on.
Yeah.
And such. And again, this Covera, where's the local, so who they call them on the computer, but where do they go to get these lab tests and everything? Is there some local provider
Yeah, I
for
mean,
lab tests?
it's like your doctors years ago, right? When they in the horse and buggy, they would come to your house. They're doing that now. I mean, that's what this is. They'll not in a horse and buggy, but they'll come to your house and to do the lab. And like I said last time, if an employee's uncomfortable having that person come into their house and have the lab, they can come to the county building and get it done.
But is there somebody local?
They are
that's
local.
coming?
Yeah, because I mean, every area they've got a contract with these folks to work the area because they've got hours, 8 to 7, Monday through Friday, weekends 10 to 2, that they'll come to a house and it's a phone call. I mean, certainly you can do it online, I'm sure, but you can make a phone call as well.
Who else in the neighborhood is using Covera? I always like to know, is there any other counties?
I think maybe Olmsted, maybe. I think there's a few counties I can find out.
And is this what's the commitment? Is it 1 year?
1 year.
1 year?
Yep, no 60-day notice.
Okay, and so within 6 months, can we get a report of what our activity is?
Yep, Absolutely, I'll do that.
To know if people are using it. And then who's going to do the education to our employees? Are they coming in and going to give them the whiz bang show and say, this is the greatest thing since chocolate milk, or what?
Great question. That's the other thing the commission directed me to do, was make sure that North Risk, so we're looking at a date of having the North Risk partner come in, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Kavera, if Kavera is approved, as well as Integrity, for meeting with our employees, and then follow up definitely with my team or myself.
Well, I definitely think Kavera should be at the table. I mean, if
Yeah.
they're not there, if they're not willing to come and explain this to my employees, then I don't know it's a company we want to do business with.
Yeah, I'm sure I just haven't committed yet because I wasn't going to go before the board and make an assumption.
Commissioner Vagley?
Has there been a motion yet on this item?
No.
No.
I'll move to approve the Kavira membership service.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve Kavera membership for our employees. Any further discussion? I think this is too good to be true. I don't know. Okay, I'll be watching.
I think it's something that should be watched and followed, especially hear what staff feels like their experience with it is, and to see if it really does save money. I think it's worth giving it a try.
Yeah, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Regretfully, aye. I mean, or with regrets, or however, with caution. I have
Thank
to
you.
say.
Oh, so you did support it in the.
Well, I do, but I just,
Okay, then.
I don't,
With an asterisk.
yeah, I don't buy into it all. No.
We'll see if you can become a believer.
Yeah. Being one that doesn't take a prescription drug, I just
Nothing,
really,
you take not even
nothing.
one.
Not a prescription.
Wow.
No. I don't.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. We're watching. All right. That's a end of our, Commissioner Meyer, you had a,
Yes. I had
Micah?
4 short points about Micah. Number 1, our dues are going down, not by a lot, but by some. And that's because Wright and Anoka County were new counties, but in fact, our population went up. So it's still, our cost went down. This legislature has apparently formed a committee. And Olmsted and Rice County are on that, representatives from those counties. This is about the IT that's way out of date for our health and human services systems, and that the legislature put forth money last year, so they're getting going. We had a conversation about SNAP and asking the state to make up the differences for the cost cuts to SNAP that the counties would otherwise bear. They shared with us that the legislative session starts in February of next year. And, we hear talk about a special session, but that is not on our agenda. So we are not opposing or supporting that either way. That's my update.
okay. All right. Just one thing upcoming, of course, we have the AMC Association Minnesota Counties District Meeting coming up Monday, October 27th, and it is here in Winona. If there's any topics anybody feels that group of multiple counties, I know we will have put on the agenda discussion of the deer, the hunting, the rifle versus shotgun, to kind of know where other counties are. Another issue that's come up with a number of counties is our zoning and planning in regards to houses, shed houses. It's a growing type of building, but how is it being zoned? And then more importantly, how is it being taxed? And different counties are having different discussions about that. Other than that, I will ask Ms. Holte, they did send out, they always ask for, what's your levy, what's your status with your unions? I think, did you get, something came out, I think just yesterday. I will touch base with you to verify where we're at on that. They always have some standard questions they ask. So if there's anything in particular that people want to discuss at that meeting, please forward any thoughts. And again, it's harvest season. Just be careful. There's a lot of farm equipment on the roads, and just be cognizant of them traveling at slow speeds, and give them time and energy to get off the road or when in your passing and everything. And the deer are moving like crazy. Please be careful. We don't need any tragedies or anything to happen here in Winona County. And other than that, anything else to come before the board? Okay,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
a motion by Commissioner Meyer, second by Commissioner Olson to adjourn. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we're adjourned. Let's take 5 before we go into the committee, the board?
Okay.
Please? All right. Thank you. A report from Parks and Environmental Committee on the use of American Rescue Plan funds at Apple Blossom Park.
Good morning. I had placed in your board
morning.
packet kind of a recommendation that came forward from the Parks and Environment Committee to do kind of an interpretive area located at the park with kind of a small patio area that would be handicap accessible with some interpretive signage. We would also, based on kind of representations that were made with the original purchase of the park, we would try to add a handicap accessible park or parking spot along with that and adjacent to that. We would also, the committee was also recommending the addition of handicap picnic table, a bike rack, and then looking for some methods of extending the life to the existing tables. The biggest issue reason I brought this forward to you is the final recommendation in doing some timber removal at the park. Now, originally when the park was developed, there was planning occurring to do timber management, because obviously if you have an overlook, if you're not managing your timber, it's going to eventually interfere with views, and it's also not healthy for the forest. So the Parks Committee connected with a retired DNR forester to kind of review the property and come up with a recommendation for the potential use of these ARPA funds to do some past due maintenance. That recommendation came forward with some fairly extensive removal. So because the potential for public concern related to that removal, we wanted to bring that forward to you to discuss and see what your views are. We had talked with the DNR forester and about with the removal of the trees so they aren't wasted there, we would look at having the contractor remove those and put the wood to use, whether it be firewood or lumber or whatever the case may be, but the slash would remain. So the branches would then be kind of set as ground cover, but those are going to be substantial and they're not necessarily initially going to be the most attractive in the world. We asked about whether that would present a fire hazard, and that was expressed to us that it should not present a significant fire hazard with the significant amount of slash, but there will be a recovery period. The time of year that we would be doing the removal, there should not be any concern related to disease, introducing disease to the trees. So we've kind of talked through potential areas of concern. And at this point, it kind of comes down to is we've got about a 5-acre area where we would be removing a significant amount of tall old growth trees. Some are over mature, and some would be just blocking the view. So it's kind of a side effect of never implementing a progressive timber management plan for the area. So we wanted to get some feedback and see whether you had concerns related to that. The Parks Committee recommendation is that we proceed with the removal.
So you've got 1, 2, 3. So is it in priority, or that's just how they got grouped?
Just on the page, the areas,
The
the original map, Heidi, if you could bring up the map. There are 5 areas of work that were proposed. And in order of priority, if we do not have funding to do all the areas, they recommended starting with area 1, then moving to area 5, and then area 4. And then if there are still remaining areas 2 and 3 would be interchangeable.
And so how many dollars, sorry, Commissioner.
I just want to jump in and I want to thank Ross. I want to thank Aaron and everybody who spent a lot of time on this issue. We had the Parks and Environment Committee has met actually out there at least 3 times as a committee. And there was like a subcommittee that was also out there a number of times. There were quite a few community members that were brought into the process, people who were part of the original founding creation of the park. It was good for me to learn about some of that history again, it was good for me important to know that the idea was a very minimalist, primitive park, et cetera. So not overly developed. So I want to thank Ross, Aaron, the staff, and also all the community folks who put a lot of time into this issue. This has been, there's been a lot of back and forth on this in terms of how to best use the funds. And Ross mentioned the trees. The county can't make a profit off of the trees, but if there is any revenue generated from the trees, the foresters takes it, and then they could, correct me if I'm saying it rightly, correct me if I'm saying it incorrectly, is they could, if they sell the trees, they could simply use that to cut more then. Is that a fair summary? We can't
Right.
profit off.
Any revenue would offset the expense of removal because there
Or
will
lower
be
the cost,
more,
yeah.
there will be a cost to the removal. It would just reduce our cost, overall cost.
Well, I'm for cutting the trees because why do you go, it's in my neighborhood, why do you go to that park when you ride over there or you bike over there and say, what do you see? The tops of trees. You can't see the majestic river valley or the vista or anything. And yeah, the trees have really taken over.
Ideally, you have progressive ongoing management to
Right.
where it's not so dramatic, but it will be dramatic. It will most certainly upset people. We'll try to do some communication ahead of time.
Yeah.
This is essentially just kind of a byproduct of deferred maintenance.
Commissioner Meyer.
When would the tree removal start?
It's best to do it during cold weather.
So this
So we will, it'll have to be done by the before the end of the year to use the ARPA funds.
The question is, can they find contractors to do it? And they want the ground frozen to reduce.
Reduce
the running-
damage to the,
running road.
the
So it
park.
may not happen even if we.
I would hope that we would at least be able to get a certain amount of work done. There are people who are interested, so the hope is that it will materialize, and whether we achieve everything or not remains to be seen, but we do believe we'll be able to, that's where we'd start with the priority areas, moving from area 1 and then see how much we can get done.
So I'm trying to get my brain. You said area 1 would be the priority,
Right, which is the,
but where does that fall within to the pull off? Is that to
It
the?
looks to me like it's right in front of it.
Yeah.
It's looking towards lacrosse. If
Yep.
you're in the park.
Yeah.
In
so
the- in the
on-
pull-off.
on-
Yeah,
There's
that's
a pull
area
up.
4.
There's one. One is right
Okay, I
ahead.
see them all on there. Okay, I see. Thank you. Thank you. I was looking at the individual maps. Yeah, that makes sense so that you can see.
Yep.
Yeah. So the other things on your list, because you only got so many dollars, are you the interpretive panels area, the additional installation such as that on hold then to see how much we're going to start with the tree trimming?
we're gonna collect pricing information on everything.
Okay.
So we've started that process. We just wanted to make sure that before we go too far down the road with that, if you were opposed to the timber harvesting idea, then obviously we're gonna reapply those dollars elsewhere. So
Well, I don't know, colored and stamped concrete. I mean, just plain, I don't know how much more it costs to get colored and stamped. I mean, I don't know. But
it was aesthetic recommendation.
yeah,
So
I mean,
we're trying to make it as attractive as possible.
Commissioner Meyer.
Yeah, I'll just say I appreciate all the work that you guys have done and thank you, and I support the plan.
Do you need a motion, Ross? Or is it just a general?
It's not an action level. We just wanted
need a
to,
That's- I mean,
we
it's-
just wanted to make sure that there were not
yeah. Go
major
for
concerns
free.
because
Yep.
there will be calls.
Thank you.
So,
But as Commissioner Vaguely said, and this got started even before I was
Yep.
on the board, but it always has been to be a minimalist
Yes.
park. It's not, yeah. We could put a water slide from the top down into the Mississippi River and have, but, we can't make money, so we can just create fun. Be a heck of a ride, wouldn't it? Okay. Or a
Thank you.
zip line. Oh,
Ski jump.
a ski jump, yeah. Thank you, Ross. Thank you very much. All right, so that's the only item we had on committee board. Now we need to go into a closed session. Are we gonna do that here? Or are we gonna move? Okay, so we're gonna go into thank you, staff. We're gonna go into a closed session pursuant to Minnesota statute section 13D.05 subdivision 3C3 to develop or consider offers or counteroffers for purchase or sale of real or personal property at 520 Hilbert Street. So we'll go next door.